Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Welcome along to episode 638 of The Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, Jake Sharp will be joining us to chat about School of Rock. Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical is at the Grand Theatre from the 21st through to the 25th of September. It will be an absolute treat, so we'll be finding out all about that. On top of that, Carol Smiley's along to have a bit of a chat about fashion. We'll be talking to Gareth Thomas about the work that's been done by Asda doctors to improve men's health and get them talking when something's wrong. Also, Slim and Blade are along. We've got some brilliant music from them. Big Zuu will be here as we'll be having a natter about some of the work that's been done with charities and the co-op to make sure that the young adults who suffered particularly badly during the pandemic have some sort of help. And on top of that, we're talking about Codsall Christmas Fayre as we chat with the chairman of the group that are putting together what will be an amazing event on the 3rd of December. That's all on the show this week. With Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre playing host to School of Rock from the 21st through to the 25th of September. It's going to be an amazing, raucous time. Some brilliant music on stage, some wonderful people performing. One of those is Jake Sharp. Hello, sir.
Hello there. How are we doing? All right?
I'm good. You all right? Keeping out of trouble?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, no, doing all right.
That's the way we like it. So, first of all, obviously, local lads, Staffordshire born and bred, and having a great time on the road with the show.
Yeah, I am. I'm a Wolves fan, so I'm excited to be back in Wolverhampton. It's been great. We've only just opened. We just opened last night in Hull. It was amazing. Just a fantastic crowd. Really, really good experience. Like one of those kind of, it's been a long time. Been a long time coming, and it was brilliant.
So it's going to be great to have you down here, and we're going to enjoy the show. I know that. But give us a bit of the background, because I have to admit I haven't seen the Jack Black movie of this.
Right. Well, you're in for a treat. So basically, the synopsis is about a guy called Dewey Finn, who's me, and he is a failing rock star, a bit kind of down on his luck, can't afford to pay the rent, lives with his best friend, and he is a bit of a child, a Jack Black, a classic Jack Black-esque character, and he has just been kicked out of his band. He needs some money to pay the rent, and he intercepts a phone call, which was meant for his housemate, Ned Schneebly, his best friend. This phone call is from a school called Horace Green, which is a kind of private school, a posh school, and asking Ned Schneebly to go in and be a supply teacher. So Dewey, me, pretend to be Ned Schneebly to go into the school, pretend to be a teacher, take the money so he can buy instruments and he can compete in the Battle of the Bands, which is his dream. Obviously realizes when you get to there, you can't just ask for money. When you get to school, you've got to be a teacher. So he does a bit of teaching, realizes these children are absolutely unbelievable musicians and thinks I'll start a band with them. And this is his way of getting into the Battle of the Bands. And then the story carries on from there.
We don't want spoilers. No spoilers.
Exactly, no spoilers. But that is the premise. It sounds absolutely ridiculous when you say it out loud as a plot, but it works really well and it's really fun and it's just great. And, kind of perfectly high energized entertainment with a nice entertaining plot, let's say.
Well, yeah, and 14 brand new songs in there as well.
Yeah, Andrew Lloyd Webber's written an amazing rock score that goes alongside it. So there's some of the songs from the film. If there are people that are fans of the film, there are some of the songs that you'll recognise. And then all these new ones that Lloyd Webber's written, which are fantastic, like genuinely really really good. Kind of some proper good rock songs and a couple of big ballads and all the classic musical hits.
And that's because Andrew Lloyd Webber knows how to make these things work. But so you've got the comedy elements, you've got the storyline, and you've got the kids taking part too. So what's it like being on the road with this rabble?
They are unbelievable. They're unbelievable. So we opened last night, like I say, there's 45 in total, divided into different groups and blah, blah, so they can't all work certain days, and etc. etc. And they are just the nicest bunch to start with, the nicest bunch of young actors. They're unbelievably, sickeningly talented, like borderline annoyingly talented, actually.
Come on, we know you've come through the ranks and have been exactly the same thing yourself. So come on.
No, I don't know. You wait until you see them. They play live every night. Their instrument, their musicianship is frightening, and they're just so nice, and just it's really, really inspiring. It's going to be a fantastic year, I think, in general. But I think seeing them kind of grow and seeing them develop, like last night, just their faces. Some of them, they've never been on stage before. That was their first time ever on stage, and it's packed house, amazing audience, and they just absolutely shone, came to the party. They're brilliant. You'll be blown away when you see them. Honestly, it's just to emphasize, they play live. They play their instruments live. Everything that you hear of them is live, and it blows my mind every time.
Yeah, because you have to be suitably surprised every time as well. And by the sound of things, that doesn't require too much acting, because you're just amazed at how great it is.
You forget every single time, and then they start, and you're like, oh my God, this is ridiculous.
So how do you think you would have got on with Dewey as a teacher at school? Do you think that would have worked for you?
Yeah, I think the thing is that I trained to be a teacher, and I feel like now that I'm playing this ridiculous kind of caricature of a bad teacher, I realise that maybe that's just what I was doing before. So no wonder that didn't really work out very well. But it's yeah, I mean, he's kind of that thing. He's that kind of a bit. He's all over the place. You know, he's a child himself. He's very kind of self-centered and self-serving. But in a way, he's the best. There's a song that's about it, that in a way he's kind of the best teacher that they have, because he's the only one who really listens to them, and he's the only one that that gives them kind of any attention that's not just to do with grades and achievements. And yeah, he's one of those teachers that you either would have loved or would have run for the hills.
And obviously a big cast. You already mentioned there's 45 kids involved in the production, but a fair few teaching staff too get involved, don't they? Oh
yeah, I mean the adult cast is phenomenal. It's always the way with the show that you kind of end up forgetting that you've got just some absolute amazing performances. Rebecca Locke plays Miss Mullins. Rosalie Mullins is the head teacher of the school. She's absolutely sensational. You know, quite a well-known person in the biz and unbelievably well respected. Matt Rowland plays Ned Schneebly, and Nadia Violet Johnson is playing Patty, and I think it's one of her first gigs, so and she's absolutely killing it, as is Matt. Yeah, everyone's so strong. It's just one of those that everyone has to be so strong, because you just don't know quite what's going to happen when you've got that many young actors on stage. You have to have some solidity somewhere else.
And of course, in this day and age, this comes with a bit of a COVID rider as well. You have to do things in certain ways, and that means you get to be less interactive outside the show, but you can have a brilliant time inside it.
Yeah, it's been a bit weird. I mean, obviously it's weird for everyone in the whole world, isn't it? Like it's just when you go back to, I feel like I'd found out how to kind of live during COVID-ish, hopefully, you know, when you're not working, because obviously the industry was so affected, as so were so many. But now that you're back, you just, you know, we were in tech and we were in rehearsals, and you just suddenly realize, like, even in rehearsals, you have to kind of keep a distance. You have to be masked up as much as you can, and there's so much stuff, you know, you'll see, which is so physical and so kind of tactile in the show, and it's very, you know, I'm very sweaty, and it's all kind of part of it, and you know, so it feels like pre-pandemic when you're on stage, but obviously, like you say, then when you're off stage, it's very different, and when you're out front and you're meeting people, it's very different. And from what we've seen in Hull, like, you know, the theatre have just been unbelievable in what they've put in place, and I'm sure that's the same throughout the rest of the country. You know, all these things that have been put in place to make it all feel so safe, and hopefully, I mean, that's the thing, hopefully that for audience members, everyone feels confident to go, because I know that that's where the issue will be. It's just making sure that audiences have got the confidence to kind of go back to theatre and to be in that position. And from what we've seen so far, it definitely. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I know the Grand are doing a great job, and they've been looking after people on events over the last few weeks. This is the first big touring show to return following the pandemic. grandtheatre.co.uk to get your tickets. You can call 01902 429212 for the box office number. And make sure you go along and see Jake Sharp as Dewey Finn in School of Rock from the 21st through to the 25th of September. Jake, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to see you.
Fresh from the festival circuit, Slim and Blade have many more gigs booked for the next few weeks and months. Also, some brilliant music to listen to out there. And I'm joined now by Ryan, Adam and Steve. Hello to you all.
Hey.
Right.
So, first of all, who's going to be official spokesperson to begin things and tell us what's going on at the minute with the band?
I would probably vote for Ryan. He's probably going to...
Yeah. Ryan wants to talk. I'll do it.
I'll take it. I'll take
Ryan,
it.
what's happening then, mate?
I'll never know what's going on. I'll send an advertisement to these two. Literally just tell them straight. I can count to 4. I can repeat. I can make a lot of noise. I'm the man for your job.
It's a good job you're a drummer, because otherwise you'd be basically heckling. So that's a good start. You don't really want to heckle your band. And as it is with the way that the band's formed now, I mean, Ada, you're pretty chuffed with how it's going, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, obviously, I don't want to be that negative Nelly and talk about the pandemic, because everyone's been affected by the pandemic. Even people who say they haven't been, they have. It's changed a lot of people's lives, but I feel like what it's done for us three really is just make us a bit more thankful. Not to go too cheesy really, but we're very thankful for the friendship that we've got, and we feel very privileged to be able to play the music that we do. So the last few gigs were amazing. Long may it continue, and then hopefully maybe next year get in the studio and record some new music. But at the minute, we're just so happy to be out there playing for people, really. It's we've really missed it.
So Ryan, what's the set list looking like at the moment then? All original material?
We do drop a few covers in there now, because we feel like you've got to please people. You've got to be crowd pleasers as well. So if they enjoy your music, but you play a few things that they might like, it's all the better. So we drop a little bit of Green Day in there, some classics. My one friend who came to see us at the festival the weekend says we need to play some Kings of Leon. So we might have to drop some Kings of Leon in there at some point. But yeah, we do mainly originals, and we drop a couple of covers in there just for good measure, to be fair.
But I mean, are you playing covers by bands who've influenced you anyway? Yeah,
I would say so. Adam and Steve really, really love Green Day. So I think that comes across when we play it, that there's Steve's tattoo there. I think we all enjoy Green Day. So we just want to put that across. We occasionally dabble in a bit of Nirvana as well, because we're heavily influenced by them as well.
And Steve, when it comes to the drumming side of things, obviously, all these bands have amazing drummers. How do you measure up? I take it you're up there.
I believe I am, personally. It's one of them trades, being a drummer. It's like you never finish learning. Like every song we look at, it's always a new avenue to take. So it's always something different. Although if you're playing on your own, it does sound like a lot of banging about, but it's always different. It's always different. Never stop learning.
So who's taking the lead on the songwriting then, and letting this man get on with a few nice drum solos?
Yeah, Eric has worked, but I'm not saying this is our formula. Usually, what happens is I'll have an idea, and I'll say to these two lads, I think I've got an idea. And then Steve's like, oh, great, show it us. But then Ryan, because he knows how I work over the years, will go, have a look at it, mate. It'll come back to us when you've got a little bit more. But then usually I've told him I've got an idea. A couple of weeks goes by, and then I've got more of a song. And then pretty much when we're in rehearsal, it's like, well, this is how it goes. Let's have a go of playing it. And then after that, really, it kind of writes itself. Almost kind of, we have the bones of the song pretty much after a couple of weeks playing it, and then it's just a case of do we need to add more here? Do we need to take away some? Do we need a solo here? Do we need a breakdown here? And then that's pretty much the part, really, just trying to figure it out between the three of us. But we've written a song quite recently, haven't we, lads? My Escape that we've added into the set, and it's been going down really well. So whatever we're doing seems to be working.
Which is the good thing. It sort of brings it all together and it makes a sound, which will say, although you've got influences, although you're doing covers, it is your own, isn't it? And we'll hear that when we take a listen to a single that you released in the early part of 2021 in a minute or two.
So we're going to listen to our second single, Battlecry. It was released earlier in 2021. Adam managed to put the video together, and obviously because I think we were in lockdown at the time, we had to film it separately. So if you see in the video that we're all sort of filming in our houses, or Steve's filming in his garden. So it was an amazing thing to shoot and a bit of a headache for Adam to put together. But the song is ready. It's on all our platforms, YouTube, Spotify, that anywhere that you get your music, it's available. And I think we did well to make a music video under those circumstances.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we're just going to see going forward is we will look back, whether it be repeats of, I don't know, Bargain Hunt on TV when things are different, or even, music videos and everything like that. Everything of this last 18 months, nigh on 2 years nearly now, is going to have a slightly different feel to it. And it'll be something that's off its time, but still timeless that moves forward. And I think your music and the way we hear all this, and when we get the next full album release, something like that, it's all going to have an element of the life over the last 18 months and lockdowns, etc. And I mean, Adam, again, what can we expect on a long player in the near future?
Well, yeah, I mean, you've mentioned life out to be in the last few years. I mean, obviously, for a long time, we couldn't get together at all, me and the lads. So we did a lot of this Zoom calls and keeping up to date. But the funny thing was with me, obviously, like the world was ending and there was a lot of crazy stuff going on, it felt like. But I was just looking at it and I was like, there's some inspiration there. There's something I can use in a song there. There's something I'd never think that would ever happen. And it was like I was at my most inspired when I couldn't even see these guys. So now we're together, really. It's just a case of just working through the material and just keep pushing and playing, really. Mm-hmm. It's great to be getting out to people, though. I can't stress that enough. Like, we obviously, for a while, we were allowed to practice, but we weren't allowed to play. That was a weird one. So we were in the studio. We do about 3-4 hours a week, hammering stuff out. And then it was like, oh, we've got no gigs anyway. So playing them in front of people is, I can't like stress that enough. Is just the best thing in the world right now. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be more playing, more writing, and just seeing what we can do. I mean, if we can get on some decent support slots with some decent bands, that's kind of what we're after. And more festivals, really, probably looking like next year now. But just keeping the excitement going, whether that be a new release or playing with a slightly bigger band. That's what we're all about, really. Just having fun and just, what rock music's all about, kind of getting out of your frustrations and all that,
Full on shirtless rock at the last gig as well, which was slightly disturbing.
Honestly, I thought, it's a sunny day, shorts and short sleeve top, I'll be fine. But the lads will tell you, they could see the sweat beading off me, like by halfway through the set. And I told them before we went on, I said, lads, I'm a bit hot here, I am. This is for me. And I think it was either Ryan or Steve was like, I dare you to take your shirt off. I ain't going to back down from a dare, am I? So, half without,
On stage semi-nudity, that sells rock and roll, doesn't it, to be fair? That's the way it works. So we're going to take a listen to your work now. And where do we go to on all the socials, etc., to find not only pictures of you half naked on stage, Ad, but also the rest of the music too?
Obviously, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we're big on YouTube and Spotify. But anywhere that you stream your music, you'll be able to find our music. Adam's going to start an OnlyFans now after his shirtless antics, so that's going to get us a lot of money for the band. That's going to help fund our new record. But yeah, now seriously, any socials, anywhere you stream your music, you'll be able to find our singles.
That sounds like it's going to be a treat for everybody. Boys, thank you for joining us. Check out Slim and Blade, and you will not be disappointed, I can tell you that. Thanks again.
Cheers, thank you.
The people of this country will rise to that challenge, and we will come through it stronger than ever.
Codsall Christmas Fayre Group are making preparations for this year's event. There's an awful lot going on. Their chair, Lewis Stobin, joins me now to let me know more. Hello, sir.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Right, let me give you some background. This is the 5th year of the event. We obviously didn't have one last year, thanks to our friend COVID, but nevertheless, we are full steam ahead for this year's event. Basically, we shut the whole of the middle of Codsall. And it becomes an event area. All the roads into the village centre are closed, and we fill it with about 50 stalls. We have 2 fairgrounds occupying the 2 village centre pub car parks. We have 2 live bands. We have street entertainers. We have our town crier, and we have Santa's Grotto. And then towards the end of the event, around 7 o'clock, we have the school choirs singing carols around the Christmas tree, and this is then joined in with the whole community, and everybody can have a jolly good sing-song.
So it is a full community event, and it's really the start of Christmas for everybody in Codsall.
Absolutely, it is. And the whole community is involved. We have a small working group. There's only 7 of us, but all the shops are involved, the pubs are involved, the businesses are involved, and it really is a superb community event, and it attracts, well, the last event attracted nearly 4,000 people to the village. So it was quite busy, incredibly festive, and it's damn good fun too.
And Codsall is such a nice community feel to it in itself. I mean, you've got everything at the village hall that hosts so many fantastic events, but really taking over the whole of the area and bringing in fun fairs and the like as well. It just really gives a great buzz. So what are the dates and how's the timeline work if people want to get involved?
Okay, it is Friday the 3rd of December. We will be shutting all the village centre roads at 2 o'clock when the stall holders start to arrive. Everything will be set up by 4 o'clock, and the event runs through till 8 o'clock in the evening. But even although the event finishes at that time, our pubs and clubs have got music and food, and also they continue on into the night, if you like. But yes, absolutely, everybody's involved, and it's just great fun for everyone, and everyone enjoys it. In the 5 years we've been doing it, I think we've had 1 complaint, and that's because a chap couldn't get into his car park, and that was it.
That's what it should be. It is everyone coming together, and that's the nice part of it. There's no dissenters because it's Christmas, and it is a Codsall Christmas, which is what counts. Really so the beautiful village, the great community atmosphere, and so you've mentioned stall holders there. I take it you're at the moment taking bookings for stall holders to come and join you.
Just starting now, yes, absolutely. We've put out information to the stall holders that were with us last time, and we shall be running a little bit of an ad campaign. There's already a Facebook page running. The website is currently being updated as we speak, and there will be advertising in the local free papers and local press over the next week or 2. And if people book before the end of September, they get a £5 off. So it's very much a go-to event.
How much does it cost to get a stall actually at the event then?
It's 35 quid for a single stall, but you get a £5 off if you book before the 30th of September.
And what's provided?
The stall holders need to bring everything themselves. We mark out all the spaces. They've got there's a gap of 4 meters allocated to each stall. So if you've got a 3x3 meter gazebo, it fits perfectly into it. And they're all spaced out. It's in 4 roads plus one of the station road parking bays.
Is there anything you're particularly looking for, do you think, at the moment that you haven't had before that would be great to as an addition?
Not really. What we've said to stall holders is please try and think Christmas, think Christmas gifts, think Christmas decorations, think Christmas themed products, and dress in Christmas themed clothing. Make it Christmas for everybody.
We'll need that more than ever this year as well.
We really do. I mean, it's been a tough couple of years for us all. Let's face it. Codsall is a lovely place to be. It's one of the villages that people like to be here. You mentioned community events. You mentioned the village hall. Absolutely. There must be 30 or 40 volunteer groups that run all sorts of classes in all sorts of crafts and music. And it's just a good place to be. We have a tremendous community feeling here. And just going back to the event, if I may, We have two bands this year. One is a 60s cover band. The other is a 15-piece ukulele band.
Wow.
And the average age is about 5 years older than me. And I know they won't mind me saying that. I'm no spring chicken, but these guys and girls are absolutely wonderful. They're so entertaining. To hear people of that sort of age playing heavy metal on ukuleles is something you really have to hear. It's good fun. It's really good fun.
Festive heavy metal as well, I'm going to guess. There'll be a few seasonal tunes too.
Yeah. I also forgot to mention, of course, we've got Santa's Grotto for the kids. And they come along, they pay a couple of quid, they get a present, they talk to Santa, they post their wish list for Christmas. It's all part of the event.
So as you say, it is Friday, the 3rd of December. That is when Christmas will officially be starting. And that is the way to make a great fun event. So with the fun fair and people going out. When you see your breath in the air, maybe you'll be wearing a mask. Who knows what it will be like at the time? But you'll be able to go out there and enjoy, in a crisp December night, a fantastic festive event. But Codsall's going to do everybody proud, I am absolutely sure. Fingers crossed for a great turnout, and it's going to be a wonderful time. Lou Stovin, Chair of the Codsall Christmas Fayre Committee, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jason.
With more than 8 in 10 women thinking there is stigma surrounding the way in which we pressurise women of a certain age to dress, there's certainly an equality there that shouldn't be the case. To tell us more, I'm joined now by Carol Smillie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How do we find you to start off with?
You find me very well, thank you. Dressed the way I want to dress.
Which is exactly how it should be. But I have to admit, I don't consider you to be a woman of a certain age. You are a woman who is ageless, which is
thank you very much.
But it is strange how the pressure seems to be much more on women than men when it comes down to dressing age appropriately.
I'm not sure that women don't put ourselves under enough pressure as it is without asking friends or inviting the scary world of social media to pass comment. But certainly I think, when you've had your children, they're growing up a bit, you can lose your way a little bit, both emotionally and physically, that you think perhaps, I don't think I look the way I used to look in that, so I'll not wear it. And we sort of have a habit of slinking into invisibility if we're not careful. But Kaleidoscope, the women's fashion brand, have done some research, and as you rightly pointed out, that 8 in 10 women think there's a stigma that pressurises them into dressing in a certain way, which is such a shame because it doesn't need to be that way.
No, you should be able to be dressed to be you, to express yourself, and whatever age you are. If you want to have fun and go out in something that's a bit exciting, you should be allowed to. There should be nothing stopping anyone from holding back from being themselves.
There is a natural kind of evolution that takes place. I think certainly for me personally, I do dress differently than I did when I was a lot younger, but it's my choice to do that. And that's the most important message. I think if you want to do that, then that's fine. Certain things I look at, obviously I get photographed quite a lot when I'm working, and you look back and think, maybe I'll modify that slightly, or, well, that looks all right. And, you kind of find your own groove. Jeans being the kind of big thing. I think every woman has several pairs of jeans in her wardrobe, I'd like to think. And Kaleidoscope have launched a feel-good denim range, which is designed by women, for women. It's affordable, £39 a pair, which is great. And they do them from size 6 to 32. So it's covering all bases and making sure that you have the staple things in your wardrobe that kind of you can work and build on from there.
Because clothes should be about comfort and fit as a starting point, warmth, never knowing what the British weather's going to throw at us, and then also though, you're just having a bit of personality too, and you've got to be allowed to have personality. And there's this concept that I think somebody else say age appropriately, more conservatively as people get older. Well, actually, why? That doesn't make sense. You wouldn't question a woman in the 50s or 60s going out in a strapless dress of an evening if you wanted to, so why not any other time?
No, you're absolutely right, and it has moved with the times. My mum in her 20s would have dressed very differently. In her 40s, she would be wearing an elasticated skirt and slipping into invisibility. That's just not the case now. But we have great role models, icons that we follow, movie stars, celebrities that are leading the way a lot of the time. And I think you find your own style and make it work for you, because it's you that's living your life. Don't let anyone else pressure you into living it in a certain way because it makes them more comfortable.
But I think, when it comes down to someone like yourself, we could easily see the Carol Smillie collection in any an online store, and we know it would have style. Yeah, we have a word. I'm sure they can do this. But it is about being who you are. And I mean, have you ever felt that pressure? I know you say you've changed the way you dress over time, but have you ever felt that there has been pressure on you?
Well, I've got 2 daughters in their 20s, and sometimes they borrow my clothes, which I find hugely flattering, I have to say. But sometimes they put it on and I think, I used to look like that in it. I don't look like that in it now. Which is a kind of shoe, and they definitely would give it a new lease of life. But no, they keep me young too in a lot of ways. They keep me right, and I think sometimes, I conduct weddings now for a living, and I think sometimes the photography comes back and you think, right, I just would lower that hemline a wee bit because the knees ain't what they used to be. But that, as I say, that's me putting it on myself. And I think we've lived in the last year and a half in lockdown, and everything's gone to pot, hasn't it? We're all dressing in very, very casual, relaxed things because no one's seeing us. But now that we're creeping out into the daylight, it's great to see brands that are, trying to encourage us to dress the way we want to dress and make us feel good about ourselves.
Yeah, and it could be. There are some bits that we feel now should be a little more covered than they used to be. It shouldn't take away from the overall appearance of the clothes when it comes down to the sort of style that we're showing. Absolutely.
If anyone wants to find out more, go to kaleidoscope.co.uk. Have a look at their Feel Good denim, because I think you'll be surprised there's something there for everyone.
You're an advocate for that one, I can tell. But would you ever do double denim though?
That's an interesting question. My kids do. Yeah. I don't know that I would. No.
It's not going to be in the Carol Smillie.
That's my personal taste. Mm-hmm. For me, I just think. See, it's when Stonewashed denim came back, I thought, oh no, I remember that first time round, and I went through it and came out the other side and vowed never to do it again. But it comes back. That's when you know you've got to a certain age, because you were there the first time round.
I'm there with you. Don't worry. I've seen it all. And it's when white denim comes around again. That always scares me slightly, because I once had a pair of white denim trousers, which was a bad move. I was in my 20s. I know better now.
I do have white denim.
On boys, it is harder work than on girls. I'm quite messy as well. So yeah.
But that's, that makes you feel good. You go for it, Jason. Don't let anyone talk you out of it.
I shall see how we do. Right, give us that web address again one more time, where we can find the fine range of clothes I have on offer.
Have a look at the Feel Good denim range at Kaleidoscope. That's kaleidoscope.co.uk.
So kaleidoscope.co.uk, check it out. And as I say, I reckon just for the new spring collection, we'll see the Carol Smillie range. It's me joking for now, but we need to have words, don't we? It should happen.
Thank you, Jason. I shall speak to the bosses.
Ta-ra for now.
Bye.
New research has revealed that 2/3 of men haven't told anyone about a health issue or concern. To tell us more, I'm joined now by Mac Dinn, pharmacist, and Gareth Thomas, former Welsh Rugby international. Good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon, Jason.
Good afternoon.
So first of all, Gareth, tell us a little bit about this survey itself, because obviously your health issues have been somewhat shouted about, but in a good, positive way, which is the important thing.
Yeah, and that's why I'm, kind of really proud to be a part of this, because I know the positive effects of talking about your health conditions, and from the research from Asda Pharmacy revealing that 2/3 of men, which is a lot of men in the UK, have admitted that they don't tell anyone about their health concerns or issues. Even more startling than them figures are the fact that in over half of them cases of men who kept their health concern to themselves, it turned out to be an issue which should have been treated at the time, or which they then became ill from. Now, this is a real ongoing issue with men, and this campaign is to get men to open up. And from my lived experience of understanding, what it's like to harbour the secret, and to live in the shame, or to live in the fear, or think it's too personal to tell anybody, and then having that experience, and then the experience of speaking about my diagnosis, speaking about the fact I'm living with HIV, and having the knowledge And that gave me the power to be able to speak about it. I only got that from consulting and from listening to pharmacists, from listening to doctors, from trusting the medicine, from trusting, the science behind the treatment. And what we need to do with this is to break down the barriers of fear, break down the barriers of embarrassment, and give men a platform to be able to go and have this anonymity. And that's what the online doctor.asda.com does. It gives men a sense of anonymity to be able to go and discuss with a pharmacist and start the process of either getting treatment or understanding what their ailment is and how they can treat it.
Yeah, and we're talking about a wide range of illnesses here. There are many things which aren't talked about, and there are a lot of things very specific to men. I mean, whether it's having issues surrounding their prostate, which may cause them to think they have prostate cancer, or it could be prostate cancer, and they're pushing that to one side. It's about talking to someone to get that answer. And obviously, in your case, you have a condition which is very well hidden sometimes, and it's through testing that you've been able to make sure you're treated to ensure that you can live a full and normal life.
Yeah, and I think that's it. For me, getting tested was a huge fear, because going to the surgery, and again, for many men, walking into a clinic or walking into a hospital is a fearful experience, because you don't want to walk in there and bump into somebody you know. You don't want to walk in there and bump into a family member, or walk in and realize that the doctor or the nurse that's sitting in front of you lives 2 doors down the street from you, especially if you live in small rural areas. You don't want to know that. So to overcoming that in the first place is a difficult thing to do, and we need to kind of eradicate them fears and realize that getting the result you need, whether it be a positive, negative test, or whether it be a diagnosis that you're embarrassed of, but you learn to not be embarrassed about it, because the pharmacist has given you, or the doctor has given you the information and the knowledge, that actually you realize that you're not the only one who has this ailment. So you have nothing to be embarrassed about. And also just to start the treatment, because if you don't start the treatment, then physically you understand that your health could deteriorate by not confronting it, by not accepting it. But also in many cases, your mental health will deteriorate as well, because when you're harboring a secret, you're kind of living in fear and waking up every day and, being afraid that somebody's going to find out about the secret you're harboring, or somebody's going to tell somebody else. Then unknowingly, again, you'll kind of end up being in a spiral that will lead into pretty dark, depressing places as well.
Absolutely. And there are conditions which with an early diagnosis and an early treatment can get picked up, and we can make sure that you get the fastest, best treatment, which is going to be least invasive as well. And Mac, obviously, when it comes down to talking to your pharmacist, it's a vitally important step in the healthcare chain. It is an extension of what the NHS does.
That's correct, Jason. I mean, erectile dysfunction is such a sensitive subject, and most men struggle to find the confidence to actually come and speak to a pharmacist. In some cases, they don't even go to their GP practices. And the new service that we've actually launched online will actually help encourage men to actually either go online and complete a questionnaire online, and so that the GP can then review this, and then after reviewing it, then prescribe the medication accordingly. Now, the customer have a couple of choices there. Then from their perspective, they can actually go into the pharmacy and pick the medication up, ask more questions around their medication. Alternatively, they can actually get the medication delivered to their home address. What's interesting was, Jason, as part of this this review that we've actually done, 6 in 10 men stated that they were likely to seek treatment without having to see anyone. So with the launch of this online doctor service, it just encourages that, another avenue for people to actually see a doctor online, or and the other methods still exist, such as speaking to your pharmacist in a supermarket setting, or speaking to your GP. So we're just giving more access, more ease of access to people, so that they're not having to hide from these conditions.
Yeah, don't hide from the condition, don't hide from the diagnosis, and certainly not from the treatment. And it's like it could severely affect your life if it is something which is a progressive condition that isn't being picked up. But even something like, as you've talked about here, erectile dysfunction, this can affect your mental health as well as your social interactions with your loved ones. So, it is all about making sure that you're keeping yourself in the best condition, whatever it is that is going wrong.
Yeah, you really touched a point, and Gareth also mentioned it as well around mental health. And I think having an alternative solution of actually accessing the medication online just will improve people's confidence, self-esteem. They won't feel as depressed going forward. They can carry on with their lives as normal. And I think that's the most important thing to get across. The sooner they get treated, the sooner they can move on with their lives and not having to hide it from people they love, their family and the friends.
Yeah, and again, I mean, back to Gareth and your situation, it could even be difficult for somebody who may not be out to be able to go and have that conversation with their own GP if they don't want their family to know about what's going on at the moment. They want to choose their own time to talk about it.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think that's the thing, is finding is having that avenue to be able to find the trust in someone that you're harboring the secret, because you feel it could make you very, very vulnerable. So when you want to be able to confide in somebody who will entrust that secret as much as you. Now, what I've learned and what I've realized, we've all spoken over the pandemic of how great the NHS is. And what I've learned is that isn't a myth. When I go to the hospital, I don't just have full trust in them because they're nice people. I have full trust in them because, they are amazing people and they do amazing things. And that's just the same with a pharmacist. I think when people think about pharmacists, I think that a lot of people have more trust also in the pharmacist than maybe they do in the NHS. So I think it's finding that avenue, it's finding that person of trust. And once you have that one person of trust, that one avenue, then you start hearing what they're saying. Mm-hmm. You start really listening to them, and you start engaging with them. And again, it's a way of realizing that whatever your ailment, whether it be living with HIV or whether it be erectile dysfunction, guaranteeing you are not the only person to have that condition, where you feel really unique, but in a really negative way. The reality is when you start interacting with pharmacists, when you start interacting with doctors, with nurses, you realize that you are one of many, and then you don't feel as bad about it. You don't feel as alien. You feel like, actually, I'm able now to tell my family. I'm able to entrust in my friends because I don't feel that it's just me who's got this. I don't feel like I'm a problem anymore because I feel like I'm solving the problem because I've spoken about it to somebody.
Absolutely. You've spoken to the right person, the right place, and at a time that suits you in a way that you feel comfortable. And this, Mac, is where the service that Asda are running here comes in. So where can people go for more information?
For more information, people can go to onlinedoctor.asda.com.
So you can check out there. You can talk to them about what you need to talk to them about, and you can hopefully make sure that any condition that you may have can be quickly and easily treated, or at least you then get a referral to take to the next stage of what treatment's required.
Great. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Well, Mac Din and Gareth Thomas, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jason.
With 60% of young people feeling they're going to be permanently disadvantaged by the pandemic, there's an awful lot the rest of the community needs to do to get together to make a difference. So that's more. I'm joined now by Big Zuu. Hello, sir.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm good. You okay?
I'm fine, thank you.
You are young. I'm not. You still have an idea what's going on with people out there of a youthful age, and it hasn't been an easy time for anybody. But it's particularly hard hit those with less life experience to fall back on.
Yeah, 100%. The COP have done a report on social mobility, looking at the impact COVID has had on young people, and the overall feeling is that young people will be permanently disadvantaged by the pandemic. You touched on the fact that 60% of young people feel like this is the feeling going forward. So, I mean, all the proof is in the pudding. The younger generation definitely are the most at risk for problems going forward from COVID. So the change definitely needs to come.
Yeah, I mean, because they're feeling it's going to be harder to get a job because of increased competition, although there has been quite a lot of work around at the moment. But again, it's for those with experience, and this is where those through 18 through 24 are going to fall down when they're looking for work in particular. But also, you've got the concerns about whether they are going to continue in further education because they don't know quite the value of what they're going to get, and it's not the education they were necessarily expecting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the kids that I've paid for university in the past 2 years have definitely not had the experience compared to the people before them, you know, doing lectures online and not being able to experience many things in person, paying the exact same money that we had to pay before. So it's hard to be optimistic looking forward, but there are different schemes and things being worked on to make a change. And that's definitely what's needed right now for young people. I think it's very important.
Yeah, and it is about communities coming together, and the co-op work with a number of charities who are trying to help out in these cases.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And that's what I think is amazing about what the co-op are doing. You can check out all the work that they're doing at coop.co.uk/game changers. They've set up an academy to help across England with people getting into different things. They've also got virtual work experience to help with the problem that you spoke about, which is about the fact that people need experience to get into jobs, but young people haven't worked before. So how do they get into that? Co-op are doing stuff with virtual work experience to get people into jobs. And I think that's what's most important, is that if companies and people can get behind supporting young people, then this big disparity that's being created can slowly get resolved.
Yeah, and it's also a turn to influencers like yourself. I mean, in your world of rapping and TV presenting, a load of kids look up to you, and with what you do, obviously you can be an inspiration and cause them to think a little bit as well. And you being involved in this campaign must hopefully really work to let them know there is something going on that they can get involved in. There is help out there.
Yeah, hopefully that's exactly the point. And I feel like, with my music, I definitely have always spoken about the challenges that young people go through. I've made freestyles, I've done songs, I've done videos, and I've always just wanted to motivate the younger generation to stay focused and be positive about their route and journey through adulthood. And anything more I can do to support them, I definitely will. But I feel like it's not just on people like me, and it's not just on companies, it's also on the wider public to realize that there's an issue and try and put as much effort as possible to help resolve it. Because I feel like if we don't support the younger generation, we'll see the impacts of this in our economy in the future.
Absolutely. And those younger people are the ones who we need in work to pay the pensions of those people who are older and retiring, because that's how our system works.
Exactly.
So it's a big circle. We all have to support each other in some way, and we have to make sure that we get an idea of this sense of community. And this is from all ethnic backgrounds. And I know that the different ethnicities are seeing this in harder ways than others as well. And so we need our whole community to come together as one.
Yeah. 1,000,000%, and I think that's what COVID kind of taught us is that strength and unity. You know, there was different moments throughout the pandemic where we needed to come together regardless of where you're from, because it needed an overall effort from everyone. It needed a fight, and that's what young people need right now. They need someone to fight their corner. They need people to be invested in how much this pandemic has affected them. And I feel like if more impact that we can have from companies and people, like I said, will make the change. And we can't forget about the younger people. We can't just leave them behind and act like what's going on. What's important to realize is that we're not saying that everyone hasn't been affected by the pandemic, because you have, but it's just the amount that it affects young people and knock-on effect it has for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and the fact that, as I said before, they are not prepared in the same way because they haven't seen anything like this. We all have ups and downs in our life, and the downs help us make the ups bigger and higher and better, and we grow and we get stronger from that. But if you haven't got that already, it does make something like the way the pandemic has panned out very difficult for people, which is the reason the Co-op have been working with the likes of the youth group, Mind, Inspire, SMH, Youth Empowerment Fund and Hub to bring this hub together. So where can we go for more information on the work the Co-op have done?
Yeah, like I said, you can go to coop.co.uk/game changers, and you can see some of the work that they're doing, and just keep up with everything that's going on with the academy's virtual work experience.
And what else have we got going on with you at the moment? Come on, there must be some massive projects you've been working on.
I've been finishing my album. My album's coming out in October. Starting to film a new program with BBC Three called Hungry for It. That's going to be with Stacey Dooley. Doing little bits and bobs here and there, just trying to stay active as much as possible.
Okay, where are you on the socials then? Where can we track what's going on?
You can follow me on everything at It's Big Zuu, so ITSBIGZUU. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff to get daily Zoo updates of my life.
We need a bit more Big Zuu in our lives for definite. That is the way it is. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
I appreciate you for having me.
That's a lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 639 next week. I look forward to having you along. See you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.